Hello children, welcome to online biology class. I hope you people are rocking well, right? So let's even rock with our subject. So children, from the last class we have studied different things about how our blood is being filtered by kidneys. Am I right? Children, have you ever observed or have you ever listened complaining of certain people? Have you ever listened complaining of certain people? So swelling about swelling of their hands and also swelling of their legs. So definitely your answer will be yes. Even we have studied about such a condition in our unit 3, which is circulation, the transporting system. But today we are going to look about the same sort of symptoms in present topic, but completely which is different from the thing what we have discussed in chapter 3. So before going to about today's class, let me ask you a few of the questions. Right? Try to imagine. Okay. So right? Till today, whatever the things we have studied from unit 4, so we were speaking about what are kidneys and how do kidneys perform their functions in our body. Yes, am I right? So imagine if kidneys fail, what happens? Just try to imagine if kidneys fail, what happens? Right? That means we need to know about the functioning of kidneys. Right? So what is the functioning of kidney? It removes waste material, nitrogenous metabolites. Am I right? In the form of urine. That is nothing but the nephrons. They are filtering our blood. Now this function is being disturbed. So if this function disturbs, what happens? Right? The metabolites, the waste metabolites, what are being present, they are accumulated or they are gathered in the extracellular environment. Where they are gathered? In the extracellular environment. Now, therefore, nitrogenous waste, right? They are present in more concentration in the extracellular environment. So, first thing, osmoregularity function is being disturbed. Right? What is the function disturbed? Osmoregulatory function is being disturbed. Now, these they start interfering with our metabolism. That may be anabolism or that may be catabolism. Right? They start interfering. Now, due to this, our metabolic activities will be slowed down. As metabolism slows down, definitely energy will also slow down. Then what do you feel? How do you feel? You feel very tired. Am I right? You don't have any energy to do work. Right? So now this is one thing. So metabolic rate slows down. That is the second thing. And coming to the third point, you don't have any energy. You feel lethargy, weak. Right? Then one more thing, right? When concentration is more in extracellular fluid, water from cytoplasm will start moving out of the cell. Now, this water, what is being lost, they start accumulating in the body parts. Due to this, the body parts become swollen, right? You know, swelling of body parts because of accumulated water is called as edema. Am I right? So, now edema is the symptom. Now, there in the third unit, we have discussed about lymph. Now, here we are discussing some other way this edema is being caused because of failure of kidney, right? So what are the symptoms or what happens, right? So if blood is not being filtered, first thing, osmoregularity is being disturbed. Second thing, metabolism slows down. Third thing, you feel weak due to lack of energy. And fourth thing, body parts become swollen. So now these are the four different things. Why? What happens if kidneys do not function? Right? Now, so if one kidney, right, we have a pair of kidneys, right? Children? Among a pair of kidney, if one kidney fails, what happens? Only one kidney is being failed and another kidney is as usual. Just try to imagine what happens. So, if one kidney is being failed, the other kidney takes up the responsibility of damaged kidney. So that means there is no problem. Just pressure on the working kidney will be increased. Work pressure will be increased. So patient, that means what the victim doesn't feel much complications because one kidney is being functioning. Now, if both the kidneys fails, what happens? If both the kidneys fail, what happens? Yes, whatever we have discussed till now, all those problems one after the one after the other, they start setting down. Now that particular stage where both the kidneys they fail to function, that is called as end stage renal disease. Right? End stage renal disease. Yes, I hope I am audible to you all. Right? So end. It become end. What become end? Functioning of renal, right? Kidneys has become end. It has reached to an end stage. And now that is called as a disease, a disorder. And in short, we denote it as ESRD, end stage renal disease. Now, why these kidneys are being damaged? What are the different reasons why these kidneys are being damaged? Now, let us see the reasons one after the another. So, it may be due to bacterial infections, right? Bacterial infections, right? Now, so I hope you people know, right? So infection in bacteria and virus, we call our fungus, we call it as infection. If any parasites are there, then that is termed as infestation, right? Infestation, infection. Of course, commonly we use the same infection, right? So any bacterial or viral, any microbial infections that may be, right? So due to that, so kidneys may be damaged. And the second one is accumulation of toxins, right? Now these bacteria or virus or fungus or any other thing, right? They may produce some of the metabolites which are nothing but the toxins. So they are poisonous, right? Because of these toxins, they may be, our kidneys may be affected. Then, so the third condition, right? Effect of toxins is the second. Now let us look about the third condition, right? So third condition is high blood pressure. Pressure is more, blood pressure is more. When blood pressure is more amount of blood will be passed to kidneys. Functioning is going to be, there will be more pressure on that. So damage of those nephrons may take place. Then in case of sugar patients, diabetic patients, so high amount of blood glucose might be present. Right? High amount of blood glucose. Right? So that also damages kidneys. Right? The next step, apart from this, right here high. Then now we are going to look about opposite one. So that is inadequate, right? Inadequate blood flow. That means what? So blood is not flowing properly through the kidneys. Why blood? Volume of water is less. So that means for the proper functioning of kidneys, we need to drink sufficient amount of water. If we drink more, then also it will be a problem. If we drink less, then also it will be a problem. So sufficient amount of water we need to have to our body. So inadequate blood flow also damages the kidney. And then the last thing what we can say, any injury or any damage which is being caused, physical damage, right? So now why kidneys are going to be damaged? Why the victim may enter into ESRD? It may be for different reasons. It may be due to infections, or it may be due to toxins, or it may be due to high blood pressure, or high amount of blood glucose, or inadequate blood flow, or injury to the kidney. These are various reasons for which kidneys are being damaged. Clear? Now, that means what you end stage renal disease, where both the kidneys are being damaged. Right? Now, when both the kidneys are being damaged, I told you what is the scenario. Complete osmoregulatory function disturbed, right? Even due to high concentration of this nitrogenous waste material, the cell is going to shrink. I already told you, right? Water from cytoplasm is going to be entering into the extracellular fluid, right? The cells start shrinking. The cell may die, and eventually that will affect the victim, right? So therefore, what do the doctors suggest now, right? So important, right? Should be filtered. Now, the doctor want to know whether the kidneys are being damaged or not, right? How we will be knowing that the kidneys are being damaged or not? Definitely, when you consult a doctor, doctor advises you to go for a blood test. Now, in that blood test, right, the clinical report of blood test, it shows different things, right? The blood contains high amount of urea, right? Or it may amount of ketone bodies. So all these are metabolic glues. Okay. And it may even contain other important thing. It contains albumin, right? Or it may contain high amount of bile salts, right? And bile pigments, right? Bile salts and bile pigments. Now, for the clinical report of blood, all these things they indicate that there is some damage to our kidneys, right? So this is the main thing the clinical report shows that. Now, among all these things, can you say what is the principal or main nitrogenous waste material which is being present in the blood? Yes, so definitely it is urea. High amount of urea in blood, so that particular condition is called as uremia. What is that condition called as or referred as? It is referred as uremia. What is uremia? Presence of excessive amount of urea in blood is called as uremia. Yeah, right. Now, at this particular condition, do doctor advise? Now, both the kidneys are functionless, right? So doctor advises to go for artificial kidney. So what do doctor advises? So to undergo a artificial kidney. Artificial kidney is nothing but dialyzer machine, right? What is it? It is dialyzer machine. Now, this dialyzer machine works under the principle of dialysis. I hope nowadays, children we can look after, government even is establishing dialysis centers. That means, look, why these things, previous days, this is a complicated disease. But nowadays, you can look after, right, almost everyone, right? So they are mostly suffering with kidney diseases. So mainly, you can even look after most of the good specialists are good they suggest you not to use painkillers. Mainly, painkillers they affect our kidney functioning, right? You need to your body organs to get itself adjusted with the pains. Immediately, you should not take the painkillers, right? Like this, right? So now dialysis become a common disease. The main reason for this is our food habits. Okay, of course, let us not move away from our topic. So now let us come to dialysis, right? Dialysis machine works under the principle of dialysis. Now, what actually this dialysis mean, right? So dialysis is nothing but separation of small molecules, that is like a urea, ketone bodies, glucose, albumin, bile salts, and bile pigments from large molecules in our large molecules through a semi-permeable membrane. That process is called as dialysis. So once again, I define you what is dialysis. Dialysis is separation of small molecules from larger molecules or larger compounds through a semi-permeable membrane. Clear? Now, here, what is being filtered? So, our blood is being filtered. Therefore, we call it as hemodialysis. What is this called as? Hemodialysis. Actually, that means what is will be the small molecules from larger molecules. Small molecules like, right? So from large molecules like proteins, etc. So through a semi-permeable membrane of our blood, we are indicating just blood. Blood refers hemo. So therefore, our definition is hemodialysis. So in this dialyzer machine, what is happening? Our blood is being filtered. That means what? Nitrogenous waste materials are being separated through what? Through a semi-permeable membrane. That means you need to understand here a semi-permeable membrane is required here for this filtration process. Now, generally, a victim he undergoes once in every 3 to 4 months for dialysis. Once in every 3 to 4 months. And for one sitting in dialysis, nearly takes 5 to 6 hours. Right? For complete filtration of our blood, it takes nearly about 5 to 6 hours. Of course, the frequency of visiting and the seating, right? It depends upon the fluid intake. If larger fluid intake, then repeatedly you need to go for dialysis. And the duration of time requires also more, right? It is generally mainly is this thing, right? The next step. Now let us try to see complete how this process of dialysis is going to take place, right? Now complete here you need to understand now whatever we are going to talk, this ESRD is irreversible damage of kidney. You can't repair. Kidneys are being damaged completely, irreversible. They can't be repaired or diagnosed, right? Now let us try to see the complete process of dialysis, right? So end-stage renal disease, I told you, short form is ESRD. What are the reasons for kidney damage? I have told you. Now, if you want to know how to confirm kidneys are being damaged, we go for blood report. Then I told you what are the different things you will be identifying in the blood report. And the main component is urea, and the condition is callus. And what do doctors suggest? And what is that other name? And next, what is the principle and frequency and type? Right? These are the things, whatever things we have discussed so far. Now let us try to understand how this process of dialysis is going to take place. Right. So now let us see here. Let me consider this dialyzer machine is going to contain a chamber. This is the chamber. And what do we call this chamber as? We call this chamber as dialyzer chamber. Right? What it is called as dialyzer chamber. A complete this dialyzer chamber is filled with fluid. You can look after complete this is the fluid, and this fluid is called as dialysis fluid. Right? What is this? Dialysis fluid. Now, in this dialyzer fluid, it contains certain tubes, right? So we can look after these are the tubes. Now, these tubes they are parallelly arranged. You can look after. Alright, and these tubes, the walls of these tubes are semi-permeable membrane. That's what they are made up of, semi-permeable membrane. You know, right in your class 9, you have studied what are semi-permeable membranes, right? Clear? What are semi-permeable membranes? Which allow selected substances to pass in or out. They are called as semi-permeable membranes, right? We can look after all these tubes. They are parallelly arranged. They are interconnected with each other, right? So now these tubes they are present in the dialyzer fluid. Now, so the dialyzer chamber there. Now this dialyzer chamber, it is going to have an inlet, right? And it is also going to have an outlet. Okay, inlet and outlet. So through this inlet, we will be passing the dialyzer fluid in. We will be sending dialyzer fluid inside, and through this outlet, we will pass the dialyzer fluid out. Okay, we will be passing the dialyzer fluid inside, and here we will be taking it outside. Now, so now you can remember. So this particular channel will be connecting to the patient artery. Right? That means we will draw the blood from patient's artery. And you people know that arteries are deeply situated blood vessels. Veins are superficial blood vessels. That means what we draw blood from the deepest arteries, the main arteries. And as you people know, even when blood passes out, immediately blood starts clotting. In order to prevent clotting, we add substance which is called as heparin. And actually, heparin is a natural anticoagulant. But so we don't get natural anticoagulant. So we add an artificial anticoagulant which is sodium oxalate. Right? We are going to add to this. So which prevents the blood to clot. Then next, what is happening? We make the temperature of blood to be 0 degrees Celsius. We'll bring down the temperature. And this blood is being passed into the dialyzer chamber, into this, what it is called as tubes. And these tubes actually, they are these tubes are made up of a substance which is called as cellophane. We call them as cellophane tubes. We are okay. Now, so I already told you they are semi-permeable. Now, what type of blood that is being passed here? So, oxygenated blood with nitrogenous waste material. Now, this dialyzer fluid composition is same like our plasma, right? So, now here, that means what it is deviated with nitrogenous waste material. So, now nitrogenous waste material are higher concentrated in the tubes and lower concentrated in the surrounding medium. So therefore, they will be diffused from tubes to dialyzer fluid. Now what happened due to accumulation of this dialyzer fluid, nitrogenous waste material in dialyzer fluid, this dialyzer fluid is being collected periodically, it is being passed into the dialyzer chamber. Clear? Now the fresh blood. Okay, that means what fresh blood means the filtered blood, right? So this blood is being injected into the patient veins, right? And once again here also we add the anticoagulant heparin, right? And we adjust the temperature of blood to the normal body temperature, right? This is the thing what actually happens in dialysis, right? So what is happening here? From arteries, the blood is being taken out by having anticoagulant, adjusting, lowering the temperature to 0 degrees Celsius. They are pumped into the dialyzer machine. So into the cellophane tubes. Now, I told you dialyzer fluid composition is same like plasma, but deviated of nitrogenous waste. So therefore, from higher concentration to lower concentration, nitrogenous waste are being removed, and periodically the excess amount of dialyzer fluid is being taken out, and fresh dialyzer fluid is pumped in, and the filtered blood is being passed into the veins. And via veins, they move to the heart, and from heart to the lungs, from lungs to the heart. Now for each and every cells, right, the filtered blood with oxygen is being supplied, and this facilitates to carry out normal metabolism once again, right? So this is how the dialysis takes place. And of course, right, dialysis is only a temporary treatment, right? Now, if you want to undergo permanent treatment, definitely you need to go for kidney transplantation, right? So nowadays you can look after many cadaver, the dead, right? So the people who are under coma, from them, so we take organs and we store and see organs. So if like blood matching, how it is going to be there, the same way organ matching is also going to be present. Now we test for organ matching between the donor kidney, whose kidney you are going to take, and the recipient, the victims, right? We test for matching, then organ donation is being done, right? So organ donation is the best thing, right? We only so most of the people, they only know about eye donations, but so number of organ donations, right? All the organs can be donated, and life of the people can be extended. Even we can see life after our death because of organ donation. This is a very good thing what is happening in our medical, right? So this is about dialysis, and this is about how kidneys are going to work. And here you need to understand this dialyzer machine is equivalent to kidney. Then the cellophane tubes, they are equivalent structures to our nephrons, right? This is about today's class, children. You can start typing your queries in the chat box. So I'll start answering. Children, you can type your queries in the chat box so that I'll start answering you. Yeah, children, cellophane, this is a chemical substance. And because of this cellophane, right? So like you know that capillaries, how our blood capillaries will be there, they are one layer, right? With porous structure. The same structure this cellophane is going to be present. So therefore, these tubes are made up of this cellophane, right? Therefore, we call them as cellophane tubes to make semi-permeable function. Is it clear? So children, from today's class, you need to write down what is dialysis, define ESRD, then explain dialysis, write essay answer. These are the questions, right? What is hemodialysis? Define ESRD, definition of dialysis, definition of hemodialysis, definition of uremia, explain dialysis completely, right? This is the thing, right? Thank you.